Mr. Speaker, when we come into this place, we take an oath of allegiance to a foreign monarch. I object to taking allegiance, and I've never, ever agreed to give allegiance to a foreign monarch. I say my allegiance is to the sovereignty of the Australian people. When you get on a Qantas aeroplane, like I did yesterday, they said they've got cookies. And it might seem petty and ridiculous, but I said, what's that? Well, you get my point, they were biscuits. You say it doesn't matter, it's silly and it's irrelevant. Well, no, I don't think it is. How do you explain that when Australia is 2 weeks away from being invaded, that our army is in the Libyan desert? What the hell's it doing in the Libyan desert? Or protecting a port that had no ships in it? It's because we were doing what we were told by the big boys overseas. We were not acting in the Australian interest. Now, I don't know of any country on earth, except New Zealand, that has a foreign monarch on their coin. Now, either we grow up and become Australians. The only two countries on earth that have no support levels for agriculture are Australia and New Zealand. And the only other one that reduced dramatically was Canada. Well, you just can't look at that and say the colonial pock marks are flashing neon lights here. Flashing neon lights here. I mean, what other country in the world intends by 2030 to get all of its electricity from China? I mean, what's wrong here? All of our petrol comes from overseas. It doesn't have to. It should all be Australian, but it doesn't. So no matter where you look, you can see the signs that this is a country that really hasn't grown up. And so you say, should Ralph Honor be on our coin? Ralph Honor, the man whose battalion, the 39th, saved Australia from invasion at enormous cost to themselves. 780 went up at Kokoda, and only 128 with roll call 2.5 months later. Should he be on the coin? Or should this person be on the coin? A person who lives in England. But also, I mean, just take a little bit of countenance here. He is on our coin as our monarch. Well, I don't want to be told what to do by some person who got their hereditary. And I constantly quote Diana's brother on how that particular family got on the throne. And I haven't got time to go there today. But, Mr. Speaker, I would like to see on our coins Tubba he was the great leader of the Colquhoun, where they held the British intruders at bay for over 20 years. Now, should he be on our coin? A man that fought to stop the intrusion into his country? Should Ralph Honor be on the coin? Or should some little fella from England, as far as I can make out, has never worked in his life, never had a job in his life, never has done anything to recommend him?
Just to remind the member for Kennedy, understanding Orders 88, to not speak disrespectfully about the monarch. The member may continue.
Mr. Speaker, I take your point, and I won't continue down that vein, because it really didn't matter whether it's a lovely and wonderful person in that position or not. I mean, either you believe that all people are born free and equal, or you don't. And if you put a monarch on your coin, it means you don't. Now, every country on earth that I know of has in their constitution that the sovereignty of their people, whether it's France or the United States or wherever, Japan, they all have it in their constitution. We have in our constitution that we should swear our allegiance to a foreign monarch. For those of you who read history books, and I don't want to get carried away with myself, but I did have a moderately best-selling history of Australia. But if you read history books, I mean, you really should have democracy. And the Americans, it's really wonderful that they start off their constitution the way they do.
Has concluded.